Hi there. It's August 3rd, and we are on day 216, I believe. Yep, 216. Today we are doing the book of Nahum. Okay, it's not something you see too much of. It's only 3 chapters, and it's the whole book. Nahum lived about 100 years after Jonah. This is his oracle concerning Nineveh. And he was during King Manasseh's reign of Judah. And Manasseh was one of the cruelest, evilest king to ever rule Judah. Even though he came back in the end, his death and killing, he killed his own people. There were always rivers of blood flowing down the streets of Judah. He killed so many people and worshipped so many false gods. Sacrificed his own children and put death to a lot of people. It's believed that Manasseh is the one who killed Isaiah. But this is Nahum the Elkoshite. I don't know where Elkosh is, but he was preaching to Nineveh, and at the time the Assyrians, during Manasseh's reign, were the most powerful nation around there. They were taking over everything, okay? And their capital city was Nineveh, where Jonah was just 100 years before this. And right, they changed for a while, but then came back, and now Nahum's going to talk about him. So let's read Nahum. Let's get a little background. Huh? God's vengeance. The Lord is a jealous and avenging God. The Lord takes vengeance and is fierce in wrath. The Lord takes vengeance against his foes. He is furious with his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger, but great in power. The Lord will never leave the guilty unpunished. His path is in the whirlwind and storm, and clouds are the dust beneath his feet. He rebukes the sea so that it dries up, and he makes all the rivers run dry. Bashan and Carmel wither, even the flower of Lebanon withers. The mountains quake before him, and the hills melt. The earth trembles at his presence. Who can withstand his indignation? Who can endure his burning anger? His wrath is poured out like fire. Even rocks are shattered before him. Destruction in Nineveh. The Lord is good and a stronghold in the day of distress. He cares for those who take refuge in him, but he will completely destroy Nineveh with an overwhelming flood, and he will chase his enemies into darkness. Whatever you plot against the Lord, he will bring it to complete destruction. Oppression will not rise up a second time, for they will be consumed like entangled thorns, like the drink of a drunkard, and like the straw that is fully dry. One has gone out from you who plots evil against Yahweh and is a wicked counselor. This is what the Lord says. They are strong and numerous. They will be mowed down, and he will pass away. Though I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no longer, for I will break off his yoke from you and tear off your shackles. It's a promise to Judah's deliverance. The Assyrian king's demise. Now, his own kids killed him, right? In the last thing we just read. Well, yeah. The Lord has issued an order concerning you, king of Syria. There will be no offspring to carry on your name. I will eliminate the carved idol and cast image from the house of your gods. I will prepare your grave, for you are contemptible. Look to the mountains, the feet of the one bringing good news and proclaiming peace. Celebrate your festivals, Judah. Fulfill your vows, for the wicked will never again march through you. He will be entirely wiped out. Attack against Nineveh. Chapter 2. One who scatters is coming up against you. Man the fortifications, watch the road, brace yourself, summon all your strength. For the Lord will restore the majesty of Jacob, yes, the majesty of Israel, though ravagers have ravaged them and ruined their vine branches. The shields of his warriors are dyed red, the valiant men are dressed in scarlet. The fittings of the chariot flash like fire on the day of its battle preparations, and the spears are brandished. The chariots dash madly through the streets. They rush around in the plazas. They look like torches. They dart back and forth like lightning. He gives orders to his officers. They stumble as they advance. They race to its wall. The protective shield is set in place. The river gates are open, and the palace erodes away. Beauty is stripped. She is carried away. Her ladies-in-waiting moan and like the sound of doves and beat their breasts. Nineveh has been like a pool of water first days, but they are fleeting. Stop, stop, they cry, but no one turns back. Plunder the silver, plunder the gold. There is no end to the treasure, an abundance of every precious thing. Desolation, decimation, devastation. Here, hearts melt, knees tremble, loins shake. Every face grows pale. Well, whereas the lion's lair, or the feeding ground of the young lions, where the lion and lioness proud, and the lion's cub, with nothing to frighten them away. The lion mauled whatever its cubs needed, and strangled prey for its lioness. It filled up its dens with the kill, and its lairs with mauled prey. Beware, I am against you. This is the declaration of the Lord of hosts. I will make your chariots go up in smoke, and the sword will devour your young lions. I will cut off your prey from the earth, and the sound of your messengers will never be heard again. All right. Chapter 3, Nineveh's downfall. Woe to the city of blood, totally deceitful, full of plunder, never without prey. The crack of the whip and the rumble of the wheel, galloping horse and jolting chariot, charging horsemen, flashing sword, shining spear, heaps of slain, mounds of corpses, dead bodies without end. They stumble over their dead because of the continual prostitution of the prostitute, the attractive mistress of sorcery, who betrays nations by her prostitution and clans by her witchcraft. I am against you. This is the declaration of the Lord of hosts. I will lift your skirts over your face and display your nakedness to nations, your shame to kingdoms. I will throw filth on you and treat you with contempt. I will make a spectacle of you. Then all who see you will recoil from you, saying, Nineveh is devastated. Who will show sympathy for her? Where can I find anyone to comfort you? Are you better than Thebes, that sat along the Nile with water surrounding her, whose rampart was the sea, the river her wall? Cush and Egypt were her endless source of strength. Put and Libya are among her allies. Yet she became an exile. She went into captivity. Her children were also dashed to pieces at the head of every street. They cast lots for her dignitaries, and all her nobles were bound in chains. You also will become drunk. You will hide yourself. You will seek refuge from the enemy. All your fortresses are fig trees with figs that ripen first. When shaken, they fall right into the mouth of the eater. Look, your troops are like women among you. The gates of your land are wide open to your enemies. Fire will devour the bars of your gates. Draw water for the siege. Strengthen your fortresses. Step into the clay and tread the mortar. Take hold of the brick mold. The fire will devour you there. The sword will cut you down. It will devour you like the young locust. Multiply yourselves like the young locust. Multiply the swarming locust. Wow. You have made your merchants more numerous than the stars of the sky. The young locust strips the land and flies away. Your court officials are like a swarming locust. Got a thing for locusts, huh? And your scribes are like clouds of locusts which settle in the walls on a cold day. When the sun rises, they take off, and no one knows where they are. King of Assyria, your shepherds slumber, your officers sleep, your people are scattered across the mountains with no one to gather them together. There is no remedy for your injury. Your wound is severe. All who hear the news about you will clap their hands because of you, for who has not experienced your constant cruelty? Right, the king of Assyria was terrible. So there you go. That's the entire book of Nahum, talking about Nineveh, where the Assyrian capital was, and the king of Assyria, and how awful he was. And tomorrow we're in 2 Kings, and then Zephaniah, which is probably one book too. So. But they're moving along history with each king, and they'll talk about the king and his life and his death, and then they'll talk about all the prophets that were around during their reign. So, interesting. So, there you have it. That's the 216, I said, right? Yep, 216. So, there you go. Have a great Saturday. Great Sunday. Go to church. Give somebody a hug. Remember, no gossip. Humble. See you next time.